Hello everyone, myself Dr. Koti Gangurde, Assistant Professor of Zoology, KTHM College Nasik. Students, today we are going to discuss on the wings of generalized insect. As we already discussed in previous lecture, thorax or segmentation of thorax of insect. Now today we are going to discuss on the wings of generalized insect. Now, before discussing on the detailed structure or the wing variation, we are shortly discussed about the wings of insect. Now, here the presence of wings is one of the most characteristic feature of the insect, right? So, depending on the presence of or absence of wings, the insects they be categorized into two groups: pterygote insect or apterygote insect. Pterygote insects, those insects they having wings, whereas the apterygote insects they devoid of wings, right? So here typically the adult insects, okay, they have two pair of wings, or particularly in case of a pterygote insect. Pterygote insects means those insects they having wings, and such a wings they are useful for their flying. So here typically adult insect they shows two pair of wings, right? So again the depending on the type of wings, the insect classification is there, okay. So usually or most, except some orders, okay, most of the order of insect they have two pair of wings, right? So here such a adult insect, or typically the adult insect have two pair of wings. Such a wings they articulating with the thorax and consisting of flattened lobes of integument, and such a lobes they get supported by hollow veins. Now the wings are usually modified in various ways, and here forewings or hind wings, okay, two pair of wings are there. So the forewings they are hardened structures, and the hind wings they are membranous structure. So here suppose you are taking example of cockroach, you are taking example of grasshopper, okay, these are the major insect or larger insect orders, right? So here the forewings they are hard, okay, they are large in size, they are hard, they are tough or cuticularized, okay. So underneath the surface or below the forewings, the hind wings they get folded, they get protected. Hind wings they are very delicate, they are thin, they are very uh, transparent, okay, as compared to the forewings, okay, or they get such a wings they are also called as the membranous wings, or they get protected by means of the forewings. Now here at the base of wings, the sclerites are articulated with the thorax. Such as sclerites, they permitting the movement of wings during the flight. Now, at the base of wings, the sensory uh, attachments are there, or sensillas are there. Such as sensillas, they concern with the control of wing movement. Okay, so as I already show you in previous lecture, in previous slide, the origin of wing, okay, at the thoracic region, right? So or the attachment of the wing base. Now here the structure of wing during the post embryonic development. Again here the insect developmental stages are the pre-embryonic and post embryonic. Pre-embryonic means where the embryo which is present inside the egg, and inside the egg such a development takes place, which is the pre-embryonic development, and after that such a eggs they get hatched, and from egg such a hatchlings they come out, and such a hatchlings they shows the development, and such a development which is called as the post embryonic development. Okay, now here what is my point? In post embryonic condition, the wings develop as the external wing pads on either sides of meso and metathorax, in exopterygotes and internally in case of endopterygotes. Again here exopterygotes means what? Here true wings they are present and they are useful for flying. And in case of endopterygote, only the wing birds they get developed, okay, and laterally the wings they form. So endopterygotes and exopterygotes. Now in adult, the wings appear as a thin or thick, transparent or leathery or partially pigmented or either darkly sclerotized, or it may be either fan-like or it may be either flattened membranous structure. Okay, now such a wing which consists of at the base sclerites. Now such as sclerites they are used for articulation of flight muscles. Again here such a thin membrane which is supported by a system of tubular wings. Now here at the base of wing the sclerites are there, and such as sclerites they are useful for the movement of wing and they are useful for the support for the flying. Okay, now with each of the major veins, okay, here you can see in the diagram in the wing here different type of veins are there, right? So here each vein of the each vein here gets supported by nerves, okay, or gets supported by trachees, right? So here such a nerves and trachees they get connected with the hemosome. Now they get connected again with the hemolymph, and here shows the with the circulation around the wings. Here you can see such a wing veins. They are hollow, right? Internally they are hollow structures, and such a veins, right? They get connected with hemosole. Here the hemolymph where which can circulate around the wing. Okay. Now on the anterior margin of the wing in some group of insect which is a pigmented spot, or such a spot it is called as a pterostigmata. Now pterostigmata which is particularly present in Odonata. Odonata which include the dragonfly. Okay. So if you can observe the dragonfly, so at the apical margin of the wing a spot is there, okay, a hardened structure is there, or it is called as a pterostigmata. Such a pterostigmata, okay, which provide the balance during the flight. Okay. Now here the wing folds along certain well defined lines which are functionally of two types. Here the flexion lines. Okay, so here what? Such a wings or wing folds they along a certain well defined lines. Here such a lines are flexion lines along which the blending of wings occur in flight, and second line that is fold line. So fold line along which the wing folds at rest. Okay, so here the wing folds they have well defined lines. Okay, so functionally they shows two types. The first one is the flexion line along which the blending or bending, okay, bending of the wing which occur in flight, and second line that is fold line along which the wing which fold during the time of rest. Now the wings they are somewhat triangular in shape and possess three distinct margins: the anterior or costal margin, then outer or apical margin, and inner or anal margin. Okay, now here we have the wing venation. Now here the venation of wing. Now here the veins they are also called as a neurons. Why? Because such a veins, they are transparent, they are rib-like in appearance or rib-like structure. Now such a veins, they are hollow, they are tubular or they are sclerotized structure, and they typically provided with the nerves, provided with the tracheas, okay, and such a ways they circulating the blood, that is hemolymph of insect. Now the wing venation represents a complex organization of veins with the wings. The veins may be unbranched, okay, or sometimes they are branch structures. Sometimes the veins they may be isolated or they may be either joint structure, okay. They are either isolated or joined with one another by again cross veins, or by either by means of convex veins or either by means of concave veins. Okay, now here we have the diagram of the generalized insect wing. Okay, now here you can focus on the wing venation. Okay, so this is the first vein or the marginal vein. It is called as the costa, followed by the second vein of the wing, which is the subcosta. Now subcosta, which run after a short distance, which again gives two short veins, that is subcosta 1 and subcosta 2. Then this is the radius. Radius after running a short distance, which bifurcates into two. The first one, which is the R1, and here you can see the another one again, which shows dividation or bifurcation into 4 to give again the 4 veins. Again here you can see the media or median vein, which again after running a short distance gives 2, that is media anterior and media posterior, and gives these veins respectively. Again media followed by the cubitus, right? Cubitus again, which gives or bifurcates into 2, that is cubitus 1 and 2. Again cubitus shows the bifurcation and gives these veins. Now the last vein of the wing, which is the anal vein, or again depending on the number of insect groups, the anal veins, the number they may varies. Okay, now we can see all the veins one by one. Here you can see the costa. Okay, the costa, which is the first marginal vein, due to which the anterior margin of the wing, which is commonly designed as a costal margin. Now it starts from the humeral plate at the wing base and run towards the outer margin of the wing without giving branches during its concave, and it is the convex vein, and it may bear sometime the stigma in case of the fore and hind wing of Odonata, right? So again you can focus in the diagram costa, which is the first vein of the wing, which is the marginal vein, or which is the which is the convex vein. Then the second vein, which is the subcosta. Subcosta is the second vein and which is distally divided into 2 branches. Here the outer and inner branches, and which is usually designated as subcosta 1 and subcosta 2 respectively. Now it is the concave vein again, and it starts from the distal end of the first axillary scleroid at the wing base, and in absence of costa, subcosta, which is represents the first vein of the wing. Now the third vein of the wing, which is the radius. Radius, or it is again designated as R. Okay, now such a radius which starts from the anterior end of the second axillary scleroid at the base of the wing and represent the third margin of the wing, vein of the wing. Now after running for a short distance, you can see here, after running for a short distance as a strongly sclerotized convex vein. Now again which divided into 2 branches, the outer branch, that is R1, such a R1 which runs distally towards the outer margin, and the second branch which is termed as a radia sector, which appears to be concave and gives origin to the four branches, that is R1, R2, R3 and R2, R3, R4 and R5. Okay, then the next one is the median, or again it is designated as M. So the median vein, which is the fourth marginal vein, and it starts from the distal medial plate and which mostly fuses with the radius. After running for a short distance, it gives two branches, the anterior and posterior media respectively. The anterior media, which further divided into two convex branches, the media anterior, that is MA1, and media MA, that is media 2. The posterior media, which is also known as the media sector, and again which divides terminally into four branches, media posterior 1, you can see in the diagram also, media posterior 2, media posterior 3 and media posterior 4. Now the next vein, that is the cubitus vein or cubitus vein, which is designated as CU. Okay, now the cubitus, which is the fifth vein and which start from the distal medial plate at the wing base, and it divides into first cubitus and second cubitus, which are convex and concave veins respectively. The last vein of the wing, which is the anal vein. Okay, so the anal vein or such a veins, they start from the close association of the third axillary sclerite of the wing base and which constituting a group of veins in the anal region. Okay, here you can see in the anal region of the wing, the anal veins, they are also termed as the venal veins. Now the number of anal veins, they varies from 1 to 12 among the different groups of insect. Now these veins, they are generally convex and they are unbranched, but some of the veins, they may be divided into sub branches. Okay, now this is all about the wing of generalized insect, then wing venation. Okay, so these are the different veins of the wing. In next lecture we discuss regarding the basic structure of leg of insect and different type of leg of insects.